Good morning and welcome to the USGBC Town Hall for the South Atlantic region, focused on the Commonwealth of Virginia today. Thank you so much for joining me. If I haven't met you already, I'll give a little bit of an introduction. If I have met you, it is great to see you again, although not in person. My name is Rhiannon Jacobson. I'm a Vice President at USGBC for our Market Transformation and Development team, leading our Southern regions. I'm excited to be here with you today. I'm coming live from my home in Washington, D.C., where I have two new colleagues, my husband and my son, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention the third, my 18-pound Maine Coon cat, Genghis, who is dying to come in and probably participate and take up the entire screen. I want to say thank you for being here this morning. It comes with an absolute level of genuineness when I talk about how important this is. Our work continues. Our mission continues. The world is a bit challenging right now, and I'm excited to know that so many of you were able to take the time to become educated, to celebrate with us, to be inspired today. My home, like so many of yours, has become really a restaurant, a school, an office, a gym, a church. Just about every other thing that we used to do is now happening within these walls. These are certainly times in which we have a different approach to things. And again, that type of commitment that you're making by being here today is appreciated. I also want to take a moment just to say thank you for the entire week that we've had. The South Atlantic Town Hall has been going on now. This is the 5th day. Yay for Friday. If you're like me, you don't necessarily know the difference between Fridays, Wednesdays, Mondays, Saturdays, Sundays, kind of everything in between. However, we're excited that we've had an incredible week. We've met with a lot of our stakeholders, and we've been able to do these specialized town halls throughout the region. So thank you again for being here. My 14 years at USGBC, one thing that I could always count on was that our mission and our work continues. So please join me today and really, I would say, enjoying the presentation and being able to interact with us. If you haven't submitted a question already for our CEO, Mahesh, please do so. You'll notice that on the left of the screen, you can submit a question. We very much value this part of the presentation. This is an interactive dialogue. So absolutely bring your questions, easy, hard, in between, anything that might be kind of burning and on your mind right now. This is the time to ask it. Mahesh is excited really to make sure that we're able to engage, to talk to one another, to have some normalcy in all of this space. So moving from there, you've heard a bit about myself. You're going to be joined by another leader for our Southern team, and we generally refer to ourselves as the Big South. I'm going to talk about that a lot during this presentation. Ryan Snow, our Director of Market Transformation and Development, will join you for the Q&A with Mahesh. So again, if you've got some good questions, you should know that Ryan's going to be asking them. So please make sure you send those along. All right, so on to the Big South team. And I'm going to tell you precisely why we call it the Big South. One, it's out of spirit. And two, it's just out of sheer number of states and space that we take up in the country. So we'll show you all of the states that are included in the Big South. But in the meantime, what I want to be very clear about on this Friday morning, I have the best team in the world. And this team really makes everything happen. Chances are you've met one of these folks before, and if you haven't met them, you've emailed with them. And if you haven't emailed with them, they've likely sent you something. You may not even realize it. So to Kirsten, to Jenny, to Lee, to Mark, to Jessica, to Beth, to Sarah, to Suzanne, and Nandita, thank you. Thank you for making my job much more pleasant, much easier, and really giving me the type of inspiration that I need on a daily basis. I couldn't be more excited with all of the work that we're doing here, and the Big South is rolling strong. We're excited about what's to come. We'll talk to you about some of the kind of changes and the opportunities that we've seen as we've moved into this challenging period. So why do I call us the Big South? Take a look. This is a lot of the country. I often say to people just kind of casually, yeah, we're Maryland through Texas. What's a big span of states? It's a lot of diversity. It's also a place in which there's an incredible amount of leadership. From the first Lead Zero project in the country to projects that have always been kind of first and best in class, to people who are some of the best volunteers that we know. The Big South is certainly big, I would say, by way of people, by projects, and by way of heart. This week, we're focused on the South Atlantic. Those are the states you see in salmon. Obviously, I am talking to you in Virginia. There are likely people on from other states. Welcome. And please let us know as we're moving through this and afterwards how you can participate more with us, what the Big South can do to really ensure that your work is even kind of, I would say, more cultivated, that you've got even more opportunities. So we are open and excited to talk with you and to engage further. All right. So one of the pieces, when I'm going to talk about something like the Big South and tell you that I've got the best team, I also need to tell you how we did last year. I've got to give you some transparency into why I feel so strongly about that. So what we put together is a bit of a report card, if you will, for 2019. There's a couple key pieces in here that may throw you, because you'll notice that we're going to talk about events. Events have changed in 2020. There's no question about that. We have moved to virtual, but we still see virtual or in-person events as a way to engage. The Big South is all about people, which is why we're going to talk about people first and how we're engaging and creating that strong community. This is a space in which you would kind of easily say you're USGBC, you focus on building projects. Projects exist for people, which is why we always start with that conversation in the Big South. So how did we do in 2019? Let's take a look. So in 2019, we had 13,700 attendees at hosted events. So hosted events are ones that USGBC hosted. If you volunteered or participated in a USGBC event, you know that these can be leadership awards, they can be education panel discussions, they can be salons, they can be green building tours. Meanwhile, we had over 12,500 attendees at outside presentations. So what's that? That's another organization's conference. That might be a panel that we participate in. And all of that kind of accumulated or culminated in 26,200 plus people reached through events and presentations. We're excited by this number. This is a lot of conversations. This is a lot of engagements and convenings, and really making sure that we're getting to people and in those big numbers that are going to be able to make our mission get bigger and continue to multiply. So those numbers are great. However, what's essential in all of this is to tell you whether or not we've been growing those numbers. Because if I just put that slide up and all you knew is that, possibly the year before had been double, that wouldn't really be giving you the whole story. What we were the most excited about in 2019 is that we saw 140% growth in attendance. Now, why is this important? What it means is that we're getting to new people. We're getting outside of our choir. We're really being able to talk to emerging professionals, to students, to people who are really going to be moving in and creating that next wave of involvement and inspiration. Additionally, we were also tracking our virtual presence, which, as you know, based on 2020 is incredibly important right now. We are just under 51,000 newsletter subscribers in 2019 and just over 26,000 social media subscribers. This is clearly a space in which we'll be increasing and kind of pushing to grow as we move in 2020. So if you're not involved now, please do so. Subscribe to those newsletters, get involved in social media. It's a great way to track the activity and really understand what's happening in the Big South. So our volunteers, I showed you a slide before that showed you my team. Now, when I think about my team, it's 10 people other than me. Is that the whole team? Absolutely not. What I really have is over 3,400 people on this team because our volunteers are incredible in the Big South. With 3,418 volunteers participating in 2019, we have an enormous volunteer base. Volunteers are making sponsorship happen, education sessions happen, leadership awards. You're talking to projects, you're talking to people, you're recruiting the next wave of green builders. This is a space in which we couldn't be more proud of and more grateful for. So to our volunteers, I know a lot of you are on today. Thank you. This is something we cannot do our work without you. So please stay involved and let us know how we can better serve your needs so that you'll continue with that really kind of level of volunteer leadership that we've seen for so many years. All right, on to another metric that we track closely. So we've talked a lot about that, getting to, kind of new markets, new people, getting outside of our choir. Greenbuild can often be that annual event that can inspire people, that it educates people, that allows you to celebrate with the industry at large. At Greenbuild last year, we, like every kind of year for at least 10 before that, we had a number of Greenbuild scholarships. we're proud to say that 65% of our Greenbuild Scholarship recipients were from the southern regions in 2019. You might be thinking to yourself, well, great, Greenbuild was in Atlanta. That's probably why. But the reality is this number is tracked very consistently. And this is important because what we know is that people coming to Greenbuild on that scholarship are often going back and they're cultivating and they're germinating their markets and kind of bringing that new information that they receive from Greenbuild. So absolutely still encourage people to continue to apply for these scholarships. This is an excellent space and one that we're very proud of. Now on to our members. So in the Big South, we're big on a membership base as well. We've got just under 1,400 individual members and just over 2,400 organizational members affecting millions of people throughout the region. When it comes to our members, Mahesh is going to talk about this a lot. We are also incredibly grateful. Everything we do at USGBC really is funded by and comes from the support of our members. We started as a membership organization. This is a critical space for us. So please, absolutely continue your membership. If you're not a member already, please consider becoming one. This is a space in which we can engage with you directly. You're going to have different access points to the organization, and we absolutely are incredibly grateful for the support that membership brings. Now on to our projects. So we've talked about people, and the reality is we are the U.S. Green Building Council, so we need to also talk about some projects. Now, when we talk about these projects, what I want you to really kind of keep in mind, each project affects hundreds, thousands of people, tens of thousands in the case of very large projects. So in the Big South last year, we saw 821 registered LEED projects. We saw 739 certified LEED projects. And this all rolled up to over 133 million LEED certified square feet. That absolutely is affecting and kind of enhancing the experience for millions, if not tens of millions of people. These are critical numbers. We are excited about the growth. We are excited about the uptake and the continued support for LEED in our region. Now, on to one of my favorite parts of every year. I am a competitive person. If you've met me, you've probably figured this out very quickly. If you haven't, you're going to figure it out very quickly in a couple seconds. Annually, we release the top 10 states for LEED. And it is no kind of, I say, secret that I'm excited that the South Atlantic is on there in 3 spots: Maryland, Washington, D.C., and today's home state for the Town Hall of Virginia. Congratulations to the South Atlantic, and even bigger congratulations to Virginia for being on that list. This list we are extremely proud of. I'll be completely honest, I want to see other states within the Big South on this list as well. But today, Virginia, the victory is all yours. Thank you to all of the practitioners, the stakeholders, the volunteers, the civic leaders that made this possible. You're on this list. It's number 7. I will always point out that you have 6 spots more to get to that number 1 spot. So we'll keep pushing with you, and thank you for pushing to make sure that this is a reality. Now on to another space that we are also proud of, and you're going to hear me talk about being proud of the work that's happening. We're proud of the numbers that are happening. We're proud of our members. Another space that we've continued to see a lot of growth in is through our Lead for Cities and Communities program. Mahesh will talk to the numbers later in the presentation. However, one of the spaces we've been able to do this is by leveraging the charitable support of the Bank of America Charitable Foundation. One of the pieces that I'm particularly proud of is that in 2019, 30% of all of the Lead for Cities recipients were from the southern regions. We've seen that same type of kind of pickup in participation in 2020, and we're confident this is going to continue. We're seeing an incredible number of cities and counties and projects come forth in the South Atlantic and the South Central region to make sure that we're strong in this space of creating spaces and cities and communities that are also moving towards the ideals that we look for in our buildings. Now, on to Virginia. I want to be really clear before we kind of get any deeper into Virginia, and what you're looking at right now is the mission statement for the Virginia community. Before I go any further, I want to do a big shout out and a thank you to Donna Wilgus. Donna Wilgus was with our staff for a years, and I wanted to quote a number, but I don't. I know she was with USGBC Virginia even before she was with the USGBC Big South team. So Donna Wilgus, I hope that you are on today. We want to let you know how much we miss you, how grateful we are for all of the work that you've done. USGBC Virginia is an incredible, thriving community that we're so proud to work with, and you really were able to lay that foundation for us. Additionally, I want to also thank Cindy Zork. So Cindy, if you are on today, Cindy is our most recent director for USGBC Virginia, who has left to do city work here in the DMV. So Cindy, thank you again for all of your efforts. Now on to the team that's representing USGBC Virginia. Mark, Lee, and Jenny, thank you. You have an incredible team. You're looking at everything from that DMV focus. We couldn't be more excited about the future for the district, for Virginia, and for Maryland. Now on to USGBC Virginia. You're going to see their mission slide that you're looking at right now. But additionally, what you're really going to realize as we start to drive into these slides, there are an incredible number of volunteers making up so much of the work in USGBC Virginia. You're looking at right now, or you will be looking at, their Market Leadership Advisory Board. On this list, and kind of similar to other communities, you're going to see an incredible list of people really pushing everything from education to sponsorship to a lot of the policy work that's happening. So to the Market Leadership Advisory Board, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for really making sure that green building stays strong in the state of Virginia. Moving from there, and again, we're going to drive through some of these incredible volunteer committees. Thank you to our Advocacy Committee. Thank you to our Northern Virginia Committee. Thank you to our Communications Committee. And as you can see, just even looking at these pieces, how well organized USGBC Virginia is and how well supported all of these initiatives are. As for the Education Committee, Virginia is a big state, so we want to make sure that we call out the Charlottesville Program Committee, the Hampton Roads Program Committee, the Richmond Program Committee, and the Southwest Program Committee. Thank you for making sure that even within the state itself, there's regionalized and both localized education and opportunity. Moving from there, a program that USGBC Virginia should be especially proud of. Connect the Dots started in Virginia and has since become a regional program in the South Atlantic. We've been excited. We've seen dozens of schools and mentorships start here, and we've even seen applications for 2020 during this crisis. So this is a space in which we continue to put a lot of strength behind, and we're looking forward to seeing this expand and to grow. Now on to the USGBC Virginia Leadership Awards. In 2019, we were able to host over 100 of you for this event and really recognize the leadership that's happening for people and for projects in Virginia. Now, it's going to be a little bit different this year. We won't have a lot of group photos. However, please join us on June 25th for our virtual USGBC Virginia Leadership Awards. We'll be getting you more information about that, but that same need to educate, to celebrate, and to inspire is there. We're just working through the way that we're going to do that virtually. We're excited to host you on June 25th. Please do participate. Now on to our USGBC Virginia annual partners. There are too many companies on this screen to thank, but what I want the kind of overarching message to be, we absolutely are appreciative of your support. This type of sponsorship support makes so many things possible, from staff activities to volunteer activities to mission projects. So thank you to our sponsors. We're excited for what's going to happen for the rest of 2020 and really looking forward to partnering with you even more to make sure that this is an incredibly strong year. Now on to some of those virtual events that I've talked about before. In the Big South, we are making sure that we are going to continue to have that same pace and really work against those same pillars that we're always focused on: education, celebration, and inspiration. In Virginia, that's no exception. Upcoming on May 21st, we'll have a USGBC Make Energy Sense with residential energy tips to help lower costs. If you're like me and everything's happening in your home right now, you're hyper-focused on it. Meanwhile, when we look at our national opportunities for education, we've included a number of technical workshops in addition to the South Atlantic town halls this week. On May 12th, we had the next evolution of LEED version 4.1 on May 13th. We hosted the LEED for Existing Buildings workshop. On May 14th, we had a LEED Zero Energy and LEED Zero Carbon workshop. And then today we'll have an ARC Performance Pro Level 1. There is still time to sign up. I absolutely encourage you to participate in these. This is a great way to get that education, obtain your CEUs, and really be able to also engage with colleagues, engage with the instructors, and be able to talk through any of those areas that you're interested in and might have more questions about. Now, I'm within 2 slides of finishing. I want to give a big thank you out to Energy Cost Solutions Group. Jason, if you're on today, thank you for the continued support to USGBC. We couldn't be happier. You have made these town halls possible, and this is really a vital piece of our communication. Now, on to my friend and colleague and Chief Operating Officer, David Whittick, who is presenting our town hall today from ARC. Dave, I will send it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Rhiannon. It's good to be with everybody here this morning, albeit virtually. I'm talking to you from across the river in Maryland, but my son is a freshman at VCU, so I have a special kinship with Virginia. I'm going to share a little bit about what ARC's been up to lately, and hopefully you see where it fits into the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. ARC is a technology platform which is focused on the performance of your project. It generally picks up where LEED leaves off, where LEED is focused on your intent and your design and that your construction followed that design. ARC then worries about the performance once your project goes operational. So once you move your people in, what happens to that building? And you see our global numbers here on the screen, but I'd like to thank you if you are among the almost 250 projects in Virginia that are using ARC, representing more than 125,000 occupants. We are in 90 countries right now, and so you are part of a global network, and we hope that if you are not using ARC, that you will join the rest of us here today. We're helping these projects track energy, water, waste, transportation, and human experience, as well as carbon emissions. And by tracking your data in ARC, you can make adjustments to your energy and your water use. And what that'll do is allow you to find savings in your operational costs. I want to show you a chart here where we could show the annual energy use of USGBC, and what we're doing now is tracking this almost real time through ARC, and that allows our facilities team to react quickly to any use pattern changes. You see our baseline year 2011, we had about 1 million kilowatt hours, and in 2019 we got that down to 425,000, so almost 600,000 kilowatt hour savings since the baseline year, and that represents nearly $80,000 in savings, and that's every year. That's not a one-time savings. Now, ARC is set up to meet you where you are. It's important for us to provide an entry point for every project to get started, and now we think we have a suite of offerings that allow you to do that. We launched at the end of last year ARC for All, and what that means is every project everywhere can use ARC at no cost. All you have to do is put your project data into ARC, and we'll show you a performance score. It's that simple. And if you have LEED and non-LEED buildings in your portfolio, you can bring them all into one place where you can manage and compare them together. We make your data capture, your reporting requirements simple to use and easier to track. We also recognize that not everybody can achieve LEED certification right off the bat. We want to help those projects to get started on their sustainability journey and to find an incremental path towards LEED. And for that, we've created the performance certificates. So if you're interested in just your energy category score, bring in that data and we will give you an energy category certificate and your performance score. You can complete each category one at a time. That's energy, water, waste, transportation, and human experience. And if you achieve all 5, you'll be ready for LEED certification. A great example of this is in Brazil. We have more than 350 schools utilizing our performance certificates there. They're on a pathway towards LEED 0 for energy, but while they're making incremental changes towards that goal, they're using performance certificates to share their current situation with all of their stakeholders. And of course, if your ultimate goal is LEED, then you can use ARC to achieve LEED certification and recertification based on your performance data. ARC can support LEED 4.1 O&M certification, LEED 0 energy, water, waste, and carbon certification, and recertification of any of the LEED rating systems and any version of those. What you could do is start with the data that you have today. On the screen are the requirements that LEED has to become certified or recertified. But if you only have your energy and water data today, get started with that information now and we can give you performance certificates, or you could simply benchmark your data against other projects. If you're using Energy Star Portfolio Manager, we automatically sync with that. So we take any possible manual keying out of the equation for you. In order to better assist with understanding ARC and the importance of performance measurement in general, we've created a number of Performance Pro trainings. All of these can be taken on demand and will earn you a course completion certificate and GBCI CE credits. And of course, Rhiannon mentioned today at 1 o'clock, we're holding a live online training. You can find either through Rhiannon or Ryan or on the ARC website how to sign up for that. And then just this week, we launched something called ARC Essentials. This is a set of tools, of features, reports that allow advanced users to gain even more insight into their projects. This includes the ability to look at strategies used by LEED new construction projects in your area to assist with your design planning. It allows you to model score changes based on changes that you hypothesize for your performance. And you'll be able to create detailed reports for your projects, which can be customized and exported for your use. We believe that performance is the future of green building, and we established the ARC Performance Platform to help people design, build, and operate buildings and spaces to help both people and the environment. We'll be holding webinars on May 27th, 28th, and June 4th with guest speakers who have portfolios in ARC who are going to share their experiences. I'd invite you to join us at one of them, but please get started with ARC today. Thank you for your time, and I'd like to introduce now the USGBC and GBCI President and CEO, Mahesh Ramanujam.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Rhiannon. And thank you to all of you for joining us today. I hope that you and your families are all staying safe and healthy. Here at USGBC, and for those of us in the green building community, we spend the better part of our days talking about the need for our society to be more resilient, healthy, and equitable. The global foundation for sustainability we have set in place is indestructible. And even in the midst of an unprecedented public health crisis, I have no doubt that what all of us have built over the last generation of USGBC will endure. Our work and our mission have not stopped. In fact, they are more important now than ever before. We have the opportunity to gather under the common banner of humanity and champion a better quality of life for millions of people around the world. I find comfort in knowing that we will emerge a stronger community in the months and weeks ahead. And I'm so grateful to be part of this community and that you have all taken time to join us today to discuss how we can move forward together. On behalf of everyone at USGBC, I would like to take this time to thank our healthcare workers, emergency responders, grocery store employees, and all other essential workers who are working day in and day out to protect their communities. Now, for more than 25 years, we have worked to build USGBC, GBCI, and LEED into the extraordinary entities they are today. And now, as we enter the second generation of USGBC, and as COVID-19 continues to change our way of life, we have the opportunity to help each other by sharing our best practices and resilient behaviors with vulnerable communities all around the world. We can rely on each other and on these foundations to help us recalibrate and recover from this crisis. But to be able to effectively initiate the recovery, we must refine lead strategies to clearly communicate the economic, health, and environmental benefits of a project to its occupants and the community to which it belongs. And at USGBC, we believe the greatest investment we can make is in each other. That is why we are an inclusive and diverse family of green builders from across the globe. We are real estate leaders, developers, contractors, architects, engineers, educators, innovators, policymakers, government leaders, and companies, all working together to build healthy, efficient, sustainable, and equitable communities for all. Especially in times like these, I am so honored to be a part of this community of leaders. Thank you for everything you have done. Your work has fueled us over the first generation, and I'm proud of what we have been able to accomplish together, and I'm excited and optimistic for what we will build next. And importantly, thank you to our USGBC members who are on the front lines and helping others to get through the impact of COVID-19 outbreak. They've been sharing their stories on our website, so I encourage you all to check them out, and most importantly, share yours with us. Here in Virginia, there are 239 of you. This includes gold level member Avalon Communities, a member of USGBC since 2007. In 2016, Avalon launched a new building certified policy requiring all new mid and high-rise developments to pursue third-party certification. And as of 2019, they had a total of 50 certifications across all their apartment communities and are pursuing an additional 33 new certifications. Environmental responsibility is core to their business strategy, and Avalon believes it is a crucial part of developing sustainable communities. In addition to pursuing certification, Avalon has set science-based emissions reductions targets, and their 2020 environmental goals include reducing their like-for-like energy and water use intensity by 15%. We thank Avalon for being such a strong supporter of USGBC and advocate for LEED. And I hope you all know that membership is absolutely vital to our work. Members have funded everything that we have done till date, and they fund everything that we do today, and most importantly, they fund everything that I'm going to be talking about today. So please continue to invest in us so that we can invest in LEED, provide scholarships to students who want to come to Greenbull, and do much more good work that we continue to aspire to do. Without you, none of this work would be possible. You are investing in the future of green building with us, and together we are building a sustainable future for all. Now, on the baseline of that future, as you know, is LEED. I want to give you all a quick update on how far we have come over our first generation and where we are headed with LEED in the second generation. 20 plus years ago, when we created LEED, we created a universally agreed upon holistic system for reducing environmental impact and providing a quality indoor environment, always with the goal of reducing carbon emissions, addressing climate-related risks, and enhancing the health and well-being for people. And today, green building has grown into a $1 trillion industry, and LEED has become the most widely used green building program in the world, and it's a full-scale global movement. Here are just a few milestones we have hit. 102,000 registered and certified LEED commercial projects. I love that number. We crossed that 100,000 number. 2 million plus registered and certified residential units. Projects in 178 countries and territories, and 205,000 plus LEED APs developing, contributing, and implementing the LEED rating system across the world. Think about those numbers. Each of you has contributed to that legacy. You have helped improve your community through each project, each building, each credential. And you have helped ensure that LEED is not just a de facto leadership standard, but also a living standard. Because of the work you are doing, people know that if they are in a LEED certified building, they are using less energy, less water, avoiding waste, saving on maintenance costs, improving indoor air quality, offering comfort to their occupants, and creating less environmental burden on their community. And most importantly, they know that they are in a building that enhances health and wellness. Here in Virginia, you're contributing towards incredible numbers I just mentioned. You have hit 3,643 registered and certified LEED projects, totaling 519 million total square feet of space. And there are 6,465 LEED professionals directing this work across the state. And in January, you heard it from Rhiannon already, we announced that Virginia made our top 10 states for LEED list once again. Thank you for contributing to Virginia's #7 ranking in 2019. Next time, our goal is to get it within the top 5. I am also especially excited about the Virginia Clean Energy Act. I should say Clean Economy Act, which positions the state's largest power sector utilities to transition to clean energy over the next 25 to 30 years and creates a new program to reduce the energy burden for low-income customers. This act establishes the first mandatory renewable energy portfolio standard for the state, requiring utilities and their suppliers to produce their electricity from 100% renewable energy sources with zero carbon emissions by 2045. This is phenomenal leadership. I would also like to take this moment to share some of the great work taking part in Virginia, like the Brock Environmental Center, a LEED Platinum center designed for resiliency. Located in Virginia Beach, the Brock Environmental Center is a must-see destination. The winner of the Exceptional Leadership Award at the 2018 USGBC Virginia Leadership Awards, the Brock Environmental Center demonstrates a high level of leadership in all facets of sustainable design. The center, which was completed in 2014, houses the Chesapeake Bay Foundation's Hampton Road staff and their education, outreach, advocacy, and restoration initiatives. The center is situated on an ecologically sensitive site. So a top priority for the building's design was to minimize impact on the coastal inlet landscape. And it employs a wide variety of sustainable strategies as part of its mission to preserve the environment and promote a healthy space for the public to enjoy. It filters stormwater from the surrounding area using 2 650-gallon cisterns and a rain garden to capture diverted water and general rainwater. The center was also the first space in the country to receive a commercial permit for drinking treated rainwater in accordance with the federal requirements and guidelines. Today, 100% of water consumed on site is treated rainwater, requiring no use of municipal water resources. That's phenomenal. As the effects of climate change intensify severe weather events in Virginia, the building's resiliency was also a critical component of its design. The center is raised 14 feet above sea level in anticipation of storm surges and is designed to weather hurricane effects such as windborne debris. When Hurricane Joaquin hit the area in fall 2015, the local sea level rose 6.5 feet above normal conditions, putting the Brock Center to the test. With its resilient design features, it passed with no signs of damage. Moving forward, the Brock Center staff and project team hope building will continue to serve as a model for new construction in Virginia Beach and other coastal areas. I love the story of the Brock Center. That is phenomenal work on resiliency. Congratulations to the team. Then there is the leadership of City of Charlottesville and the University of Virginia. Earlier, I announced that Virginia made the top 10 states for LEED again, and the city and UVA were two key players contributing to that. Having identified climate change as an issue of concern in the region, the university and city leadership have formed a strong partnership to advance sustainability through education and collective action. Both parties have committed to using LEED in new construction and major renovations. I'd like to share some examples of how green building leadership in Charlottesville addresses environmental concerns and raises public awareness. The LEED Gold Charlottesville Area Transit Operations Center opened in 2010. The environmentally responsible industrial site proves that LEED works for all building types. The city and architectural firm VMDO prioritized sustainability in construction, ensuring all facilities would offer comfortable and healthy spaces for transit staff. Then there is Clark Hall, a leader by example when it comes to energy conservation. Home to UVA's Department of Environmental Sciences, the renovation of this 182,000 square foot space was the result of an effort by the Office of Sustainability's Delta Force program at the university to coordinate a team of facility staff, engineers, plumbers, and technicians. This team analyzed the building's energy use and came up with solutions to reduce both energy and utility costs. The resulting operation strategy earned the building LEED Operations and Maintenance Silver certification and has resulted in a 67% reduction in energy costs, translating to $750,000 in annual savings. Some notable upgrades include repairs to energy recovery systems, installation of new recycling and waste stations, and advanced controls for the HVAC system. Or what about the university's efforts to conduct a deep energy retrofit of a historical residence at Eco Remod? A joint effort by the city and UVA, the project demonstrates that energy efficiency and sustainability are not limited to new construction projects. The home was built in 1922, neglected by 1960, and added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1981. Eco Remod aligns with the city's vision of making Charlottesville a leader in innovation and environmental sustainability, while also preserving the cultural and creative character of historic places. And to ensure ongoing sustainable performance of the building, a team of UVA engineering, architecture, and architectural history students designed a monitoring system to track energy, temperature, and other environmental conditions for the home. In addition to Charlottesville, Henrico County is setting a strong example for other local governments with its strong commitment to LEED construction. Using LEED helps the county demonstrate its commitment to good stewardship by creating environmentally sound, healthy, and sustainable facilities, while saving money on ongoing facility operations. Their LEED Silver Verena Area Library, for example, blends sustainability and community for the benefit of Henrico County residents. The result is a lively, sustainable, and healthy space. The new library vastly expands on the services available to the county residents, and it has earned national honors from the American Institute of Architects and the American Library Association, and was selected as a People's Choice Award at the 2018 USGBC Virginia Leadership Awards. There is a common theme amongst all these projects: sustainable, healthy, resilient, and most importantly, they're all about community. I love that. And let's not forget that none of the progress you're making would be possible without education and our credentialed stakeholders. Credentials provide a means of becoming not just a participant in this field, but a leader. If you don't have your credential yet, I encourage you to take an exam soon. In light of the current situation, we've also made both the LEED Green Associate and LEED AP with specialty exams available for online delivery starting this week. I also want to take a moment to recognize today the leadership of our LEED Fellows in Virginia: Kim Hardy Lombard of AECOM, Steve Davis of Thrive Architecture, and Sherilyn Tacker of Rerooted Life. The LEED Fellow is the most prestigious distinction awarded by GBCI and recognizes outstanding LEED APs who have demonstrated exceptional impact with LEED. If the first generation of LEED was about connecting the dots between awareness and adoption, about educating people on the impact of this work, then the second generation must be about accelerating adoption, and doing so through new metrics, new credits, new incentives, new goals, and new ways of implementing LEED at a time when the world needs it the most. In our latest version of LEED, LEED version 4.1, we have not only raised our energy reference standard, but also added a carbon metric to the rating systems for new and existing buildings. This way, we can directly measure the impact buildings are having on the climate, as dictated by efficiency, on-site storage and generation, and the grid of which it is a part of. We also made improvements to the renewable energy credit, so buildings can be incentivized to invest in the kind of clean energy technology that lowers emissions even further. And in LEED version 4.1, we are asking project teams to understand the embodied carbon in their material selection. This way, they can use whole building life cycle assessments and tools like environmental product disclosures to weigh options for building design and material selection with lower carbon impact. The material credits in LEED version 4.1 has been significantly simplified, and it is evident that more than 7,100 credits have been substituted by 2,295 projects around the world. This is very important. LEED version 4 projects are able to now use LEED version 4.1 credits. That's the beauty of LEED version 4.1. That also means more projects are including sustainable and healthy materials to positively impact the health and wellness of their occupants. Additionally, the construction and demolition waste management credit rewards teams for reducing the amount of construction they're doing and the amount of demolition materials that they are going through. According to the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, 10 to 15% of materials are wasted during the construction process. So this is a real opportunity to reduce embodied carbon by recycling and sorting these material streams. Adding carbon as a metric to everything we do sets the foundation upon which all new and existing buildings and eventually communities and cities can assess their current carbon footprint and begin mitigation. As Dave mentioned earlier, we have fully integrated our ARC platform into LEED version 4.1, making LEED the first green building performance standard in the world. Through this integration, we are helping project teams to ensure their design, construction, and operational strategies are driving the expected performance outcomes for the project. Of course, we want all LEED projects to continue to demonstrate leadership long after they are constructed and occupied. So through our new recertification guidance, any LEED project, old or new, can recertify using 12 months of performance data. Over 490 projects have already recertified using this new guidance voluntarily, and we expect this number to grow rapidly in the future. Now, if we are going to move the needle to tackle climate change, we only have one choice: to set our sights at zero. We believe net zero is a powerful target that will move the entire industry forward to a regenerative future. This is where our leaders are going, with 17 certifications already achieved. LEED projects are transitioning to net zero milestones, and yours can too. Yes, zero carbon emissions, but also net zero energy use, net zero water use, and net zero waste. Now, you may be surprised to know that the first LEED zero energy project did not come from the United States or Europe or Asia, but rather from Brazil. And the second project was not from a tier 1 city in the United States, but from Little Rock, Arkansas. Now, the third LEED zero energy project is one of my favorites. You guessed it right, from Virginia. Discovery Center Elementary School in Arlington, Virginia. $117,000 in annual savings to fund 2 teachers' salaries. If a school can deliver this result, there should be no excuse for any project in the world not to pursue the LEED zero goals. In addition to these savings and delivering a net positive energy balance to the grid, the school serves as the learning laboratory for students to get an early start on sustainability. So far, we have delivered 17 LEED zero certifications, including the Colgate-Palmolive Burlington, New Jersey site that has achieved all 4 certifications: LEED zero energy, LEED zero water, LEED zero waste, and LEED zero carbon. And I'm happy to see that hundreds of LEED projects are actively considering LEED zero certification and starting a new trend for leadership. While LEED zero is made for individual buildings, we want to accelerate change on every possible scale. And that means not only addressing isolated projects, but the cities and communities that they belong to. We need to see the forest through the trees. That is why we created LEED for cities and communities. It's a change on an even grander scale. These programs are helping cities develop responsible, sustainable, and specific plans for green energy, water, waste, transportation, and many other factors that contribute to the human experience. They encompass sustainability and much more: quality of life, health, prosperity, equity, education, resilience, infrastructure, and energy. They are designed to support continuous progress toward developing better communities and cities, because better communities equal better lives. More than 100 cities and communities around the world, including Arlington County, Virginia, are registering and certifying with us. In total, these places cover more than 53 million people. And I want to take a minute to share some key takeaways from this slide. The list of certified cities and communities. Yes, the font size is small, but my first takeaway is that if you are in a city that is not on this list, please encourage that city to take action. The second thing I want you to leave you with is how LEED can be layered to support people, businesses, neighborhoods, and cities. If you take a look at that list, you will notice that Washington, D.C. is on the list towards your right. But so is the Golden Triangle Business Improvement District, a neighborhood within the city that is also on the list at the very bottom. Recently, Golden Triangle achieved LEED Platinum certification and became the first LEED certified business improvement district in the world. Golden Triangle has made significant efforts to ensure a clean, safe, and vibrant neighborhood for more than 89,000 people. It's a stellar example of how to use every possible inch to improve the quality of life and living standards for every person who visits or calls it home. And why am I sharing all this? Because USGBC's headquarters, LEED Platinum office, is also proudly part of this Golden Triangle Improvement District. Imagine if every LEED building asked their community and city to get certified. And imagine if we connect all of the data through our ARC platform and we know exactly the impact our buildings, communities, and cities are making. Imagine that world. That is our vision for the future. As Dave mentioned, ARC powers LEED. But we also know that there are many existing buildings that may not be ready for LEED. And to help them get started, we have introduced performance certificates that allow every project to get started and make incremental progress on the following categories. Think of college credits, incremental college credits, energy, water, waste, transportation, and human experience. These projects can eventually get LEED certification if they want to. We now have more than 9,700 projects in ARC. That is what I should have said based on this slide. But actually, we now have 9,800 projects in ARC since we started this week's roadshow. And close to 400 projects have obtained their energy performance certificates, allowing us to jumpstart the much needed progress on our existing buildings. So you can see that the number is constantly growing, and people are realizing the future of green building is about performance. And all of these efforts, from ARC to LEED Zero, are part of our vision to ensure that the next phase of USGBC's efforts will be LEED positive, where buildings are actually generating more energy than they use and removing more carbon than they produce. And the way to get there may not always be direct. It'll require incremental steps, from a project tracked in ARC to a certified building to a LEED Zero building and beyond. The aspirational goal that I've set for USGBC is that we will require all LEED new construction projects to achieve LEED positive starting in 2025, and all existing buildings to be LEED positive by 2050. In the years ahead, LEED buildings must not do just less harm than traditional construction. Instead, they should be carbon positive and truly regenerative. They should generate more energy than they consume, save more water than they use, remove more carbon than they produce, and have a positive impact on the physical, mental, and social health of its occupants. In short, LEED buildings need to give back to communities than they take from them. We need to reimagine how to grow and scale our projects so that in meeting this new demand, we create better, more inclusive spaces. And that will be achieved by all of us together. While cities across the globe work to flatten the COVID-19 curve and return to some sense of normalcy, we must face a new reality. The world we return to might look nothing like the one we left behind. The impact of the global COVID-19 pandemic will be felt for years to come on the economy, on people, and on our way of life. 50% of the world's population already lives below the poverty line. And the IMF recently stated that in 2020 and 2021, the cumulative GDP loss from this pandemic would be around $9 trillion. It is no secret that the most vulnerable among us will feel the gravest impacts. In fact, they already do. We are going to have extraordinary mental, physical, and financial health repercussions in nearly every part of society. Remaining resilient, both in business and life, will require every industry and individual to adapt at a pace you might never have thought possible. But what lies ahead is also a responsibility for us to design a more resilient future. We believe that healthy people in healthy places is the fastest way to build a healthy economy. And the global pandemic has only made our beliefs that much stronger and our mission that much more vital. We don't have to choose between public health and a healthy economy. The future will require both to thrive. That is why, going forward, we'll prioritize our efforts to build people's trust that their spaces are healthy and have a positive impact not only on them, but the economy at large. In other words, our second generation at USGBC will focus on our relevant and reimagined vision. Healthy people in healthy places equals a healthy economy. This is a once-in-a-lifetime crisis, but it's also a once-in-a-lifetime chance for us to fulfill that vision by asking the right questions and discovering the most equitable, inclusive, and innovative solutions. Earlier this week, USGBC announced a series of actions and priorities that will support the global recovery effort and leverage the power of our community, this community, to shape a healthier future for all. You can read the full list of what this recovery effort entails online, but I want to note a few things for all of you. First and foremost, GBCI will amend its lead review process immediately to incorporate the lessons learned over the last 2 months from COVID-19. We will publish a series of reports offering specific guidance on best practices to help project teams assist their occupants to re-enter their spaces. We will launch a call for proposals early next week and organize an event in June to hear perspectives from the broader market on how LEAD can better evolve to deliver on the new reality we are facing. We'll make a series of upgrades to LEAD version 4.1 that'll be made available to project teams in August of this year. And on an emergency basis, we will release LEAD pilot credits to support social distancing, non-toxic surface cleaning, better facility management, air quality, and infection monitoring. And we will conduct research reports to help our community understand broader trends in the market and opportunities to advance our new vision. This also includes a LEAD ROI study to demonstrate both return on investment and return on impact. And finally, at Greenbuild 19, we announced our intent to launch the USGBC Equity Program. We will accelerate the implementation of this program in order to help our stakeholders address the social, health, and economic disparities within their communities. The pandemic has brought health to the forefront of people's minds, but the uneven ways in which the virus is impacting the most vulnerable reminds us of deep underlying social inequity. To respond to this, on May 28th and 29th, we are holding a USGBC Equity Summit to help us collectively answer key questions that will shape the USGBC Equity Initiative and the second generation of USGBC. The two-day event will consist of listening to community members' presentations on how to deliver on USGBC's promise of better buildings equal better lives by demonstrating equity. So far, hundreds have already registered for this event. So we encourage you to register for the summit and submit your ideas to our call for proposals if you're interested in presenting. Now, this is a very important topic. So please mark the dates, May 28th and May 29th. The call for proposal is still open. We want to hear from you. As we shape the future of this agenda, It'll be wonderful to know your best-in-class thinking to be able to incorporate it into the new program and really elevate this conversation, because we care for a sustainable world, but we care even more for a sustainable and an equitable world. So please join, please spread the word, please ask your colleagues to come and present if they have better ideas, and most importantly, help us shape and help the 50% of the world population come out of that poverty line through sustainability as a paradigm. With that, I like to say once again, healthy people in healthy places equals a healthy economy. This is our new, timely, relevant, and necessary vision. We hope you will join us in making it a reality in the second generation of USGBC. Thank you all.